The International Commission on Orders of Chivalry is a privately run, privately funded organization composed by scholars on chivalric matter and awarding systems founded in 1960, whose stated purpose is to examine orders of chivalry to determine the legitimacy. Its president is Dr.Pier Felice degli Uberti since 1999. Its seat is situated in Milano, Italy. During the Congress of Madrid, Vicente de Cadenas y Vicent thought that it was appropriate to create a commission of scholars on chivalric matters. This idea was instituted during the 5th International Congress of Genealogical and Heraldic Sciences in Stockholm, Sweden, under the protection of Swedish Prince Bertil, Duke of Halland, with State Herald of Sweden Gunnar Schäfer as General Secretary, by decision of the Commission for Heraldry chaired by Alessandro Montedella, Court, with the purpose of creating a provisional list of orders whose approval had to be submitted to the next Congress. Initially, notably in 1964 to 1999, the organization was embroiled in several controversies caused by the different cultural training of its commissioners. The root of some of these controversies stems from the unavoidable bias inherent in the ICOC's governing structure as a private, non-governmental organization. Since its foundation, it has had a list of patrons with honorary function without the right to vote, notably including Archduke Otto von Habsburg, Cardinal Pio Laghi, Patron Cardinal of Sovereign Military Order of Malta, Cardinal Giuseppe Caprio, Grand Master Emeritus of the Order of the Holy Sepulchre, and Maria Vladimirovna, Grand Duchess of Russia, among others. In order to avoid any conflict of interest, the commissioners who hold important offices in some order cannot participate in the decision regarding that order. The ICOC's most recent register and provisional list of orders was published in 2010. History, formation and early history. The International Commission on Orders of Chivalry was founded at the 5th International Congress of Genealogical and Heraldic Sciences in Stockholm, Sweden, under the protection of Swedish Prince Bertil, Duke of Halland, with State Herald of Sweden Gunnar Schäfer as General Secretary. The International Congress of Genealogical and Heraldic Science is a biennial convention for genealogists, heraldic scholars and others working in related fields. The Congress that year was under the leadership of the Swedish Baron Hamilton of Hageby. The reason of its foundation is explained in Report of the Commission for State Heraldry, composed of Baron Alessandro Montedella, Court President, who was also the Chancellor of the Order of Saints Maurice and Lazarus, Hungarian author Nobel Professor Geza Grossmidzedsogod de Visegrad, Vice President Roger Harmagnes, Rapporteur, and by its members, Portcullis Pursuavan, John Brooke Little, L.T. Cole, Robert Gare, a Scottish anthropologist and author who had an interest in heraldry, Robert Matania, genealogist and officer of arms, Sir Ian Moncrieff of that ilk, B.T. Baron of Easter Moncrieff, Elizabeth Prince, officer of arms Conrad Swan, and Paul Warming. Concerning point 4, the decisions of the three Congress at Madrid were recalled relative to the juridical and historical conditions which had to apply to independent, both dynastic and family, orders of chivalry, and it was recommended to prepare a list, albeit provisional, of the said orders so that they might be studied and then approved at the following Congress. The purpose of the ICOC was originally to determine the legitimacy of orders of chivalry, as, since the late 19th century, a number of purported orders had been operating, bestowing chivalric and noble titles. It was believed that an organization like the ICOC, while not possessing any actual powers of enforcement, could research the relative legitimacy of claimed orders and provide the public with objective information about about them to enable them to choose legitimate ones. The first register was published with the agreement of all the commissioner, but a second one was published without their authorization by Robert Gere, who included the Order of St. Lazarus in the list. Many of the other members of the board of directors resigned in protest. Gere replaced them with members of the Order of St. Lazarus, and those sympathetic to the goal to be recognized as a legitimate chivalric order. In 1970, the ICOC decided also to approve the Order of St. John of Jerusalem, Knights Hospitaller, a move that further alienated the ICOC from the company of respectable scholarship and increasingly cast suspicion on their own validity. By 1996, the last year of Robert Gere's presidency, the vice president of the ICOC was Terence Francis McCarthy, founder of the self-styled Irish chivalric order the Neadnask, and who fraudulently claimed to be Prince of Desmond, the McCarthy Moor. Gere himself had assumed the fantasy title of Baron of Lochresha, and claimed to be the chief of the clan Gere, which he had earlier invented. Gere served as McCarthy's constable in the Neadnask. The other 8 members of the board of the ICOC in 1996 included Patrick O'Kelly, who claimed to be Baron O'Kelly de Conefera, and 6 other members of the Neadnask. Since the Neadnask was heretofore unknown within the world of chivalric orders, Robert Gere and the ICOC expanded the original focus of the group to include a new category, called dynastic nobiliary fraternities. Hundreds of people, taken in by these claims, joined the Neadnask and donated to their cause, totaling about $1 million. Among those convinced by the hoax were former Irish Prime Ministers Charles Haughey, Albert Reynolds, and John Brooke Little. After Gere's death in 1996, Terence Francis McCarthy assumed the position of president and continued using the ICOC as a vehicle to advance his fraudulent nobiliary claims. In July 1999, the falsity of Terence Francis McCarthy's claims was discovered and reported in the media, and he resigned from the ICOC. Since 1999, the president of the ICOC has been Dr.Pier Felice degli Uberti, who immediately decided to admit the errors of the past, although happened without his own fault. It should be acknowledged that some serious mistakes were made, where organizations were included in the register alongside historical chivalric orders despite not being such, and because of this it has been necessary to go back to the 1964 register and use that as a starting point. These include, first and foremost, the so-called Order of St. John of Jerusalem, Knights Hospitaller, included from 1970, and the so-called Neadnask, included from 1996-1998. In 1999, the ICOC also decided to remove the Order of St. Lazarus from the register's list of legitimate orders of chivalry. The purpose was to return to the initial mission of the ICOC Commission, born in the Congresses and the only one which was authorized by Paul Adam, president of AIH, to continue its complex work also at the end of the Congress, remaining as a permanent commission. Pier Felice degli Uberti's first act was to ask all the commissioners the curriculum vitae, removing those whose academic standing was not sufficient to the position of commissioner, abolished all the precedent registers, bringing into force the first edition of 1964 register and deleting the questionable orders in time inserted. The previous board membership was replaced largely by individuals of greater credibility in the heraldry and chivalric orders community, such as author and nobiliary expert Guy Sainty, genealogical and heraldic expert as Roger Harmagnes, Cecil Humphrey Smith, Michelle Popper, Henrik Klackenberg, Elizabeth Rhodes, Hervé Pinoteau, Peter Carold Cligard, Robert Watt, President of International Academy of Heraldry, AIH, Michel Teilhard-Derry, President of International Academy of Genealogy, AIG, as well as historian of the Crusades Jonathan Riley Smith. In 2015, the ICOC decided to consider as knightly orders to be included in the register only those historical, while the other classifications should be deemed as appendices in order to inform of their existence, but without going about their evaluation. In addition, all the new creations, currently being made by heads of once ruling houses, should be simply considered as awarding systems without chivalric content. Publications. In 1964, the ICOC expanded their original focus by adding a new category which they called noble corporations. They expanded further in 1984 with other noble corporations, in 1998 with ecclesiastical decorations, in 2000 with bodies of a chivalric character and bodies inspired by chivalry, in 2001 with bodies which referred to orders or awards which had been awarded by state bodies in the past, and again in 2002 with revivals of ancient chivalric institutions originally founded as orders by the dynastic successor of the founding authority, new chivalric institutions founded by the head of a former reigning dynasty, successors of chivalric institutions originally founded under the authority of a state. The ICOC's most recent register and provisional list of orders was published in 2010. Patrons. Notable patrons have included Royals and Imperials Archduke Otto von Habsburg, Archduke Hubert Salvator of Austria, Archduke Joseph Arpad of Austria, Countess Walburga Habsburg-Douglas, and acute Archduchess Walburga Maria of Austria, Philip Albrecht, Duke of Württemberg, Duarte Pio, Duke of Braganza, Prince Sergius of Yugoslavia, Maria Vladimirovna, Grand Duchess of Russia, Princely Kazogu of the Albanians, Ecclesiasticals Cardinal Giuseppe Caprio, Grand Master Emeritus of the Equestrian Order of the Holy Sepulchre of Jerusalem and President Emeritus of the Prefecture for the Economic Affairs of the Holy See, Cardinal Alphonse Maria Stickler, SDB, Librarian and Archivist Emeritus of the Holy Roman Church, Cardinal Pio Laghi, Patron Cardinal of Sovereign Military Hospitaller Order of St. John of Jerusalem, of Rhodes and of Malta, Prefect Emeritus of the Congregation for Catholic Education, Cardinal Andrea Cordero Lanza di Montes Molo, Archpriest of Basilica of St. Paul outside the walls, Bruno Plata, Grand Master of the Teutonic Order, Patriarch Ignatius Joseph III Yonan of Antioch and all of the East of the Syrians.